Welcome to the Dr. OK Show. I am Dr. OK, and it is the first 3-hour SmackDown from Phoenix, Arizona. So, wow, I know if I had Vanessa Hudgens as my superfan, I would want to have 2 shows in 1.5 months as well, just nearly 12.5 miles apart from each other, but I am a little surprised that WWE would go that route. However, good to see her and, of course, Cole Tucker yet again in the first row right behind the announcers. So let's get it started now that we've got 3 hours. So we've got 5 and maybe 6 matches here tonight. So in our main headline, we just keep ringing in a new year with a countdown for TIFFY time. But of course, we'll get to that in a moment, so let's start off the top of the show with the first match. So we just keep finding new ways to use the ring because Shinsuke Nakamura failed to expose the turnbuckle like he had a couple weeks ago against Andrade, but this time he just DDT'd him on top of the head with the ring post. So if Andrade didn't get a concussion from that, he then immediately Kinshasa'd him in the back of the head to defeat him for the second time since returning. So that means Nakamura is the ones, and it was a pretty even bout throughout most of the match, and Nakamura had a snap German suplex and a flying knee off of the turnbuckle, but no one uses the ring itself to his advantage like Nakamura, so he goes to 1-0, and we'll get some better stats here for you soon, but not today. That means Andrade is the 2s, and he landed several of his signature moves, including 2 moonsaults, but he was close and yet so far away, so he drops to 0-1. And then after the match, LA Knight, ran to the ring, but Nakamura was ready this time, swinging and then missing with the US title belt. So Knight actually landed several strikes on him, but before he could land the BFT, Nakamura was able to slip away, and so Knight will pick up his first fine of the year, but it was well worth it for him as he will finally get his rematch for the US title next week on SmackDown. And this was a strong style first match of the year, so it will get an okay. Up second, we just keep leaving a footprint because when you're in the footprint center, you have to make your opponent eat defeat. So that means Michin is the ones, and she made Piper look like someone who had won 0 matches last year, and she spun her silly with 3 straight Hurricane Ranas before she started to leave those footprints, so Michin goes to 1-0. But that means Piper, as usual, is the 2s, and she received no help from Chelsea, so that's interesting, right, Chelsea? Well, nonetheless, because of that, Piper could not do much, but she did land a Piper driver. Still, Michin was able to kick out of that, so Piper drops to 0-1. And because I'm not sure why Chelsea won't help out her friend when Piper does all the dirty work for her, has to get a not okay. Up third, we just keep being pretty much in the way because DIY convinced Pretty Deadly that they'd be great to be the #1 contenders, so that meant that Pretty Deadly was on board to distract the Machine Guns before Los Garza sought revenge of their own and chased Pretty Deadly around the ring, leading to Angel tackling Wilson on top of all 4 men right before it looked like DIY would tap out. So DIY is the ones merely for getting lucky with a no contest in this bout, as they somehow could not turn Pretty Deadly's distraction and a super kick fairy tale ending combo finisher into a win. So they go to the very strange record of 0-1. So that makes the Machine Guns the 2s, as they twice seem to have the title in their grasps as they were about to land a Skull and Bones before Pretty Deadly's first distraction, and they had a Motor City Stretch and STF locked in before that second interference, so they too will go to 0-1. But before the bout happened, everyone in Legado del Fantasma, including Escobar and Elektra Lopez, will get fines for briefly confronting and attacking Pretty Deadly backstage, and both Los Garza and Pretty Deadly will get 1 week suspensions for interfering in a title match. So because no contest is no bueno, we will give this a double not okay. And in our main headline, but somehow not the main event, we just keep ringing in a new year with a countdown for TIFFY time as Tiffany Stratton pulls off a New Year's heist to pop the champagne as the new WWE Women's Champion. So of course, Tiffany is the ones, and let's count down all the things that she had to do to win this one. 10. Ignore Nia and Candice all night and wait for both Nia and Naomi to be down on the mat. 9. Fake a cash-in by pushing the referee over the barricade, which of course will get Tiffy a 2-week suspension for pushing a WWE official. 8. Hit Naomi with the briefcase to help Nia win, and that too will get her a second 1-week suspension for interfering in a title match, which directly determined the outcome of it. 7. Celebrate with Nia and Candice and trick Nia into attacking Bianca, which, I mean, Nia, what were you thinking? Why wouldn't you have your peasants, Tiffy and Candice, attack Bianca instead? So Nia, for doing her own dirty work, will pick up a fine for attacking Bianca. 6. Attack Nia with the briefcase when she's about to land an Annihilator. 5. Take out Candice by throwing her into the post. 4. Leave the ring and wait for Bianca to recover faster than Nia so she can grab her and hit a KOD. Boy, that one was pretty risky now, wasn't it? Okay. 3. Immediately grab Bianca and throw her over the announce table. Tiffy could have been interpreted as helping Bianca by hitting Nia, but now she has to get a fine for attacking everyone. I also want to point out here that Naomi could have recovered at any moment here and stopped Tiffy because, you know, Tiffy just whacked her with a briefcase to stop her from having a chance to win the title, but I guess she really was annihilated by Nia. 2. Cash in the briefcase by handing it to the same referee that you just threw over the barricade, and hope that he's not so angry at you that he just refuses to do it, but luckily for her, he actually did it. And 1. Soar for the all-time prettiest moonsault ever on Nia, so happy Tiffy time as she becomes the new WWE Women's Champion. For someone who didn't seem to have a clue on how to perform a simple cash-in for months and months, well, that was some Mission Impossible strategery that Tiffy was able to pull off right there. So congrats to her. That is how you ring in the new year as the new champion at 1-0. So that makes Nia the 2s, and don't forget that she did annihilate Naomi to retain the title, even though that was with Tiffy's help. So she gets a win and a loss here and is 1-1. And that means Naomi is the 3s, and she might be forgotten here, but she had a great effort as she landed several signature moves, including a double stomp into a split leg drop, then a springboard enziguri into a Samoan drop, then also a tornado DDT, head scissors driver, and blockbuster. So really great performance there, but of course she goes to 0-1. And since we are popping the champagne on this new year, new champion thing, we'll give it a double okay. And in the main event, we just keep worrying me that you're trying too hard, because while Roman Reigns sat on the couch for 5 long weeks since War Games, Solo Sikoa put himself at risk with his 3rd match in the last 4 weeks. And yeah, the new Bloodline won because Solo is the true tribal chief, but I'm wondering if discretion wouldn't have been the better part of valor just 3 days before Tribal Combat. So for now, the new Bloodline is the ones, and in a very long 6-man tag, it took Drew McIntyre to saunter toward the ring to draw Jey Uso's attention, so even though he landed a suicide dive on McIntyre and then hit both a spear and an Uso splash on Jacob Fatu, Jey missed Solo's tag on Fatu, so Solo got the easy Samoan spike to win the match, and of course that means this three-man unit of the new Bloodline goes to 1-0. And that means the Usos and Sami Zayn are the twos, and they are unbelievably fighting for a guy who punished them over and over, so they deserve to lose here, and they also don't deserve the dignity of an analysis after they yeeted for about 10 minutes before the match even started. So they go to 0-1. And because I'm annoyed that this match happened at all, to make things as tough as possible on Solo Sikoa right before his tribal combat match, it gets a not okay. And with that, let's go beyond the mat for SmackDown. Well, we'll stick with the Bloodline here and call out Paul Heyman for being a complete and total liar. He claimed that Sikoa stole the Ulafala from Reigns' bag. No. We are not doing that, not buying that for a single second. Man, he thinks we're all idiots. And now that I think about it, by the cheers that the OTC is getting, he's right. You are all stupid idiots. But come on, people, the Ulafala was not stolen. Reigns abdicated it after he lost to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. He either left it at ringside and some kind WWE official grabbed it and kept it safe until Sikoa had enough of waiting for Reigns and used it for himself, or Reigns had it and actually sent it to Sikoa to become the tribal chief, only to change his mind 4 months later. And I don't know which one of those two things is true, but it's definitely one of those and not what Heyman said. And so when Sikoa told Heyman that he'd give Heyman the Ulafala to hold onto it during the match and then to put it on him and make him acknowledge him as the tribal chief after the match, well, that just left Heyman speechless, and then all will finally be right in the world. But for tonight, since Heyman is such a blatant liar, it's getting a double not okay. Cody Rhodes actually started the show and said that he was not cleared for competition, but soon Drew McIntyre interrupted him and surprisingly hugged him, saying that he was there to help him because he always tells the truth. But as you would imagine, Cody Rhodes did not believe him and he felt tension in the air. But as McIntyre started to leave, he turned around and stopped on the apron to give Rhodes the warning to watch his back, which was just in time as KO attacked Rhodes from behind, focusing on that injured neck, which of course the officials ran out as soon as possible to break it up. So KO starts off the new year with another fine, but it would be nice for McIntyre to actually make a decision on this whole transfer portal thing. I will say he still was awfully interesting, so we'll give him an okay. Now putting all of these groups together, we had Sami Zayn bump into Carmelo Hayes, and Hayes said that Zayn and Braun Strowman could get this work anytime. And then the Usos came up from behind Hayes to interrupt him and asked if there was a problem. So Hayes, realizing that he was outnumbered 3-1, decided to get out of there and leave. But as the Usos were walking backstage, KO bumped into Jey, and he, just like McIntyre did a little bit earlier, told the Usos to watch their backs. But while this was nice to see a few different groups interacting together, it was just kinda so we'll give it a not okay. Well, it's a new year and we've got a new champion already, but if you missed the first ever OK Awards, go right on over here to check those out. And if you do, I will even give you a fresh start with a resolution to give you an OK.